said he's
beautiful.
tall,
Love
so
it.
yeah, we need to have him up high.
My name is Jennifer Wilson. I'm the keeper of this space, Sisters Uptown Bookstore and Cultural Center. I'd like to welcome you this afternoon to the author signing of our wonderful spirited brother, Robert. We met the brother some months ago, and just his spirit alone, we just embraced him and knew that he had a special gift. He didn't tell us everything about him, because I'm finding out every day who he is, but it is indeed an honor and a pleasure that the universe and the Creator has sent him forth to us to do work. He's going to come in his own way and tell you all about himself, but we're just elated and honored to have Robert as a member of Sisters Uptown Bookstore and Cultural Center. We started this journey some 14 years ago, and we're about the last standing African-American owned bookstore left in the village of Manhattan. And the honor is that it's female owned. It is indeed a challenge, but it's a challenge that we welcome, because we know that through the Most High and the universe, all things are possible. That's why we're here 14 years later. And so, knowing and feeling Robert's spirit, this book that he's written, Words from the Spirit, were so appropriate, brother, you don't know. Because this journey that we're on now is totally from spirit. And so when the universe sent Robert our way with his information, he read some of it at our open mic the other night. Our brother, Robert Joseph.
Yay! It would just come. Something would come, whether it was day, night, whether I was at work, at home, I'd be on a subway train, but a message would just come to me, and I would just stop what I was doing and just write. And this process was going on for, I'd say, maybe a year or so. And after about a year, I had a collection of these messages, but it was still not clear to me exactly why and what I was supposed to do with them, who was supposed to read them. But it was clear to me that they needed to be put in book form. And so that was around the time that the official writing process started. And so at that time, I put myself on a regimen of just writing every day, Monday through Friday, for about 4 months. And around January, into January 2013, had a rough manuscript, and then spent a couple months revising and editing. And then around April 2013, started the publishing process, self-published through Amazon's CreateSpace. And that process took about 6 months. And the book was published in September of 2013. And it's my belief that these words have come through me, but not from me. They've come from God. And I believe that God just chose my hand to put the pen to the paper and deliver these messages. So I don't take credit for these words, but I consider it my blessing and my honor to share these words anywhere and everywhere that God intends for me to share them. So it's a blessing to be able to share these words here with all of you. So what I want to do, I realize that many of you have not had a chance to read the book and may not be familiar with the content. So what I'd like to do is share some of these messages to your relationships with your family members, your romantic partner, your friends, your business associates, and any other people in your life. This also pertains to your relationship with yourself. The patterns of behavior that persist in your life from relationship to relationship reveal something about you. Now, this might be something negative, or this might be something positive. Whatever the case, it's important to be honest with yourself about your patterns of behavior in your relationships and what these patterns reveal to you about yourself. Are you a taker or a giver? Are you dependent or independent? Are you a follower or a leader? Are you dishonest or honest? Are you a good talker or a good listener? Are you selfish or selfless? As you answer questions such as these, you discover patterns of behavior within yourself which you might want to change, and patterns of behavior within yourself which you might want to maintain, as well as your relationship with yourself. Transform your self-talk so that your excuses for what you've not done become your reasons for what you have to do. If your self-talk says to you, I have not made this important change in my life because of the lack of time that I have, shift your self-talk so that it says to you, I have to make this important change in my life because of the lack of time that I have. If your self-talk tells you, I've not accomplished this goal which I set for myself because of the fear that I have, shift your self-talk so that it tells you, I have to accomplish this goal which I set for myself because of the fear that I have. As you transform your self-talk in this way, your sources of justification become your sources of motivation, and your excuses for inaction become your reasons for action. Think of your life as an elevator. Think of yourself as the elevator operator. You control the direction of your elevator. If it is in your best interest to descend to a lower level than where you are, push a button on the control panel that takes your elevator down to that floor level. If it is in your best interest to ascend to a higher level than where you are, push a button that takes your elevator up to that floor level. You control the music in your elevator. If you like the music that's on, then continue to play that music. If you don't like the music that's on, then change the music. You control the capacity as well as the population of your elevator. Be very careful about who you allow to ride with you on your elevator. Some people might want you to take your elevator up when you want to take it down, and some people might want you to take your elevator down when you want to take it up. Allow only those people on your elevator who desire to move in the same direction that you desire to move in, and who desire to reach the same level that you desire to reach. As the elevator operator, you control the floor level, the direction, the music, the capacity, the population, and all other aspects of the elevator that is your life. So that's an example of physical power, a physical place of wonderful energy, revelation. And as I mentioned, this acronym applies to physical power, mental power, emotional power, and spiritual power. I want to share another story with you. My father always had a passion for learning. From the time he was a small boy in Panama, where he was born and raised, he always had this passion for this hunger for learning, for gathering information. He loved to read magazines, he loved to read newspapers, he loved to read nonfiction books. He just loved to gather information and facts about the world. And he took this passion for learning into school. He loved to learn history, philosophy, math, and science, and all different kinds of subjects. And he was a great student. He had a perfect attendance record, he had excellent grades, and all the way through high school, junior college, he was a very good student. He also was a very good baseball player. He was a catcher who had a rifle of an arm, could throw out any base stealer. He was a power hitter who hit these tape-measured home runs. And all the way through high school and junior college, he excelled on the baseball field. And for his accomplishments both in the classroom and on the baseball field, he caught the attention of Florida A&M University, and they offered him a baseball scholarship. So in 1957, he left Panama and moved to the United States. He was the first in a family of 12 children to leave his home country, Panama, and come to a new country and start a new life. And so it was a major adjustment for him, obviously, new country, whole different culture, but he was able to overcome any of those challenges. And he was able to graduate from Florida A&M University with a bachelor's degree. And the passion he had for learning developed into a passion for teaching. And so he decided to pursue a career in the field of education. And what he did, he enrolled in a master's program in education at the University of Kansas. So he moved from Florida to Kansas. He spent a year there. And after a year in Kansas, he moved to California. The only relatives that he had in the United States at that time were an aunt and uncle who lived in Oakland, California. And his aunt invited him to come and live with them there, and he could continue his education in California. So he transferred from the University of Kansas to California State University, and hey, he really felt his outside in the classroom. So after a few years of that position at Sonoma State University, he left and took a job at the Oakland Unified School District and became a math teacher at the junior high and middle school level. Now at this time, he enrolled in a PhD program at the University of California, Berkeley, to pursue a PhD in education. So now he was working on a degree that was going to allow him to realize that dream to become a college and university professor. Also at this time, he implemented a program for teaching mathematics on television. There was a television station affiliated with the Oakland Unified School District, which allowed him to actually teach math on television after school. Because there were a lot of students in the district who didn't have anyone at home to to help them with their homework. Parents were working or single parent household, whatever the case, nobody was there to help them. So through the medium of television, he was able to teach homework, help students with math problems throughout the district of the Oakland Unified School District. He was able to reach students who were not just at his school, but throughout the district in the city of Oakland. And this was one of the most innovative programs for this, and actually one of the first programs for teaching homework on television in the United States. Very innovative program. My father was very proud of it. And so he was doing this, same time he was working on his PhD and doing what he loved, teaching. Unfortunately, he was forced to retire from his position in the Oakland Unified School District very suddenly. He was in a very tragic automobile accident, which rendered him paralyzed. He became quadriplegic. He had no use of his lower body, very limited use of his upper body, very limited use of his arms and hands. And because of this, he's no longer able to work as a teacher. He also was not able to continue to work on his PhD at the University of California, Berkeley. Because of the medical challenges that he faced at this time, he wasn't able to continue that work. He completed the coursework for his PhD, but he had not finished the dissertation, so unfortunately he wasn't able to complete that. He was not able to realize that dream to become a college and university professor. Now there was another dream that he had related to the field of education, and that dream was to see both his children graduate from college. And by the grace of God, he was able to attend college graduation of his daughter, my sister Angela, when she graduated from the University of California, Berkeley in May of 1990. Unfortunately, he was not able to attend my graduation from Stanford University. He had many complications in his body as a result of his paralysis, and among those complications was kidney failure. And it was kidney failure which ultimately claimed his life on June 8, 1991, which was exactly 8 days before I was scheduled to graduate from Stanford University. So needless to say, this was a very difficult time in my life. You know, under normal circumstances, when someone's about to graduate from college, there's a lot of stress. You got final examinations, you got papers due, you got to pack up and move, get ready to transition from college life to the next phase of life. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of stress just under normal circumstances. But dealing with the loss of a parent at the same time that all that stress is going on from college graduation, to say it was overwhelming is an understatement. And I remember at this time, my mother actually said to me, you know, why don't you talk to your professors and see if they might be willing to give you some extra time, maybe, you know, allow you an extension to finish your papers a little later, or allow you to make up your final examinations at a later time, so you don't have to deal with all that stress at the same time that you're dealing with the loss of your father. And I gave it some thought. It made sense. But I asked myself, what would my father want me to do? What would he want me to do at this time? You know, it was his dream for me to graduate from college and graduate on time. And so I continued to ask myself that question, what would he want me to do? And the more I thought about it, the more it became clear to me that the best way for me to honor my father and to honor his memory would be to work as hard as I possibly could, get all my papers done, take all my final examinations, do all the coursework I had to do, and graduate on time and walk with my class. And so I made a commitment to do that, but it was easier said than done. There was a lot of moments that were very rough. You know, a lot of emotions that were hitting me, all the grieving and mourning and the memories were hitting me very hard. And I remember one particular night, I was really under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. I had 2 finals the next day, a paper due, and those emotions were hitting me very, very hard at that time. And I was feeling very overwhelmed.
I said he's
beautiful.
tall,
Love
so
it.
yeah, we need to have him up high.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's, you know, I was just